FAU, Osmania University, Central University of Karnataka, Gulbarga, etc. More than he has also guided more than hundreds BTech and MTech students to complete their practical training under his supervision. He has also huge passion for towards teaching and possesses a visionary plan in designing student career, not only to impart education, but guide the students in pursuing their future career in terms of master's education, both abroad and India, or job placements, etc., and make them active integral part of institutions. His publications include Poverty Appraisal, Financial Reforms, Sustainable Urban Development, and Role of Technology in Achieving Slum-Free Cities in major publications. He is an associate member of Institute of Town Planners, India. It is a great pleasure to have you here now, sir. Thank you for joining us and accepting our invitation. Now I hand over the session to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to thank Dr. Nisar in the first case. I'm very happy and glad to be spending this time with students, I suppose. Can I, so are these all civil engineering students as audience?
Yes,
can
sir.
you?
It is mostly related to civil students as well as faculties around.
Right. Right. So after listening to what you have spoken, it just reminds me of my age because some projects are some 10 years before, 15 years before, but that's okay. Sticking to the agenda, I would like to share my screen. Yeah. Is my screen visible to everybody?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Before even starting the presentation, I'd like to give you a context of this topic and context of a master plan situation in India. We all know, every big city is suffering with one or the other way when it comes to urban planning. Every time heavy rains fall for 3 days or 4 days, the water is everywhere, whether it is Chennai, whether it is Hyderabad, whether it is some part of even Bangalore, or Bombay is the worst case in such extent. So, and we are not very happy about the way how the cities have been evolved. Definitely there have been some setbacks. Definitely there have been some not specifically I would call them mistakes, but that lack of attention or lack of preparedness for the kind of urbanization that we encountered in the last 3 decades. Maybe one of the issues. Maybe nobody ever thought of Bangalore having so much of population, or BBMP area being one of the biggest urban development areas in India, across India. So the context of this presentation is all cities are, definitely we are not at all happy about the way how these cities have been evolved. Not in terms of the actual reality, but in terms of pre-planned growth. It is not vision, it is not visioned properly. It is not evolved properly. And in this background, I would like to define what is a master plan. Master plan is the only statutory document which is prepared in India. Of course, it is also prepared in other Western and other parts of the globe, but in India, it is called a master plan is prepared, and it becomes a statutory document in India, which guides the cities in a proper direction, which gives the city a strategic, spatial, and also the other sectoral vision or future for the next 25 years or 30 years. So that is the importance of preparing a master plan. And to prepare such kind of plan, the role of technology, the role of GIS technology especially is huge, very, very huge. Let me give you an example. I have also been part of planning some 5 to 6 cities in United States, and of course more than around 100 cities I worked in India also, covering some 8 to 9 states. Previously, for whatever meetings that we used to go, and we used to show our work, planner is a must. Urban planner is a must professional who have to attend that meeting. But now, more than the planner, I am very surprised. Last 3 years or 4 years, even if planner is absent, they are not too much worried. But the GIS professional has to be there. Whether he is a planner and a GIS professional, whether he is a civil engineer and a GIS professional, doesn't matter. But they want only that person who is capable of doing any ramifications on GIS platform or GIS software. That is the importance that I have noticed. When I say I'm working in almost 7 or 8 departments, 7 or 8 states, there is a huge role of GIS technology in preparing a master plan. Of course, master plan is the soul. Master plan is an urban planning statutory document which has to be prepared. But right now, the situation is it is completely standing on the basic platform of GIS based technology, which prepares the base map, which prepares the land use map, and so on, so forth. So in this context, I was requested, I was informed about this meet. I thought, okay, this is I can definitely have a purposeful lecture. And the objective of the lecture is very simple. One, of course, to understand what is GIS technology and how important is it. I'm sure by I don't want to discuss much of theory because you already know what is GIS. But I want to throw more light on what is the process of preparing a master plan, because at the end of the day, this document, if once prepared, it is a document for the next 25 years for that city. So many of the aspirant civil engineers might become urban planners in their masters, or vice versa. So relevance of a master plan in the light of GIS technology is what I would like to discuss. If my voice is all clear, I would like to proceed. Is my voice all clear? Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. See, it is very different to have an online lecture without having the responses, but it's okay. See, what would I like to cover in this presentation is, one, significance of the master plan, which is what I just discussed, significance of GIS based master plan, and key steps in preparing a master plan, GIS based master plan. What are the key steps? Acquiring a satellite image, preparing a geo reference to base map. These are the basic steps I'm speaking. Preparation of existing land use map, integration of revenue, cadastral land records, survey sheets into the existing land use map, integration of contour data. This is all the the platform that we prepare to actually establish our thinking. I mean, any urban planner's thinking on the city, and then evolve with certain kind of vision, and then do the this thing. And then on a contrary part, you definitely go through the existing data analysis. Appraisal of the city is the most important. You have to understand the city in a very, very different dimensions. Every city is different. Every city has a different socio-cultural diversity. Priorities are different. Income levels are different. Patterns are different. Travel behavior is different. Travel types are different. Source of incomes are different, so on and so forth. I mean, you cannot just define a city in a 1 + 1 = 2 definition. That's not possible. And no planner, I don't think any planner has been very successful in actually visualizing what would happen after 25 years to this city. It is the most failured professions, I would say, not in terms of literal failure, in terms of exactly understanding the city and anticipating the city, what would it happen for the next 25 years, and exactly plan the same way and then get the result also in the same way. This generally doesn't happen across the globe, I'm telling you. Of course, Western cities have that have that pleasure of having that plain lands, have the pleasure of having that very pre-planned and strategic timeline that they have. And they're very much worried, even with a population of some 1,000 households, and then cities get they're too much prepared. I would like to say, because I have worked and visited in several parts of the globe, so I feel they're little more cautious, little more prepared, little more this thing. But on contrary, we are having easily 1 crore population cities, 50 lakh population cities, 2 crore population cities, and then things are going on very normally. So on part of that, population projection is very important. You have to do your projection, what kind of population that you're trying to plan. And then SWOT analysis. You all know, I'm sure, you are the next generation graduates. So I'm sure your intensity of study is little more aggressive than what we would have studied at our times. And then vision formulation. That is when you actually form a vision. And then sector-wise proposals, master plan, and implementation of the master plan. And I have a surprise at the end, which is called dream. So this is all I would like to cover. And yeah, coming to GIS, just bear with me for the first 5 minutes. It might sound little theoretical, but later on it will all be like mostly customized. We all know what is GIS. I need not give you a definition of what is G, what is I, what is S. Definitely, we are enjoying like anything using the GIS. Planners or any other professionals who are doing the planning for any city are enjoying that luxury of capturing, storage, manipulate, analyze, manage all kinds of geographical data. Suddenly I want to pick up the survey numbers which are more than 20 acre or 30 acre. It is just within a splash shot. I can get that information for you. Suddenly we want all the lands which are under 111 GO or some other GO or conservation zone or preservation zone or forest area, whatever you like to say. This is all happening only because of the GIS platform. Yes, data management, visualization, spatial modeling, storage of land use map data, and several layers. You can put 100 layers over this database, and still the offices feel very confident using this technology while preparing any city. I famously say one thing about data. When it is data, it is very easy to categorize what is a developed country and what is a developing country. Developed city or a developing city, developed commissioner or a developing commissioner, in that sense, or a developed faculty or developing faculty. So whatever profession you take, if data is 100% right, as a city commissioner, if you have the data on your hands, like you have the forest information, you have the survey revenue information, you have the lake information, you have the catchment area information, you have every information on your hand or on your computer, on your tab, then you are a good city. Forget about the remaining numbers. If you are not having data, suddenly you want socioeconomic data, you will go for the survey. Suddenly you don't know how many roads are under the drainage of only 20 centimeter pipeline or a 100 centimeter pipeline or a 10 feet pipeline, we don't know. So if you are not having any data, which means that you are a poor country. So data is the only difference that I have observed in my career. When we go to very richest country, then the data is very, very vibrant. I mean, almost you can handhold the data which is 10 days old or 5 days old. So I'm just gone for a moment about the importance of the data, and that importance of the data is stored and utilized in GIS in a very, very big way. Now about the master plan, I told you it studies the dynamics of demography, physical, social infrastructure, and at the end of the day, it has to meet to the needs and the requirements of the city for the next coming years. And it is also a document which will guide spatially, and it has to give that potential to every area to the fullest extent, and at the same time preserve the conservative areas, sensitive areas, like lakes, forest areas, other any development limited areas. Every city suffers with the disappearing of the lakes. Every city, every year you lose certain amount of defense areas, certain amount of state land ownership you lose because of encroachments, because of houses coming here and there, because of unauthorized layouts. So many things happen, and the only way that they can be curtailed is preparing a very, very mistake proof or a foolproof master plan. Yeah, coming to the benefits of GIS in town planning, I told you, you take any set of data, you take any category of data, definitely it improves your efficiency. You are more faster, you can easily answer. Suddenly your commissioner comes and asks a GIS professional, I want to pursue the houses who have been paying the property tax last 10 years very, very regularly. So it might take some years, some 20 years back, if the commissioner would have asked, it would have taken ages, but now it comes very easily. So resource inventory and analyzing existing situations, modeling options are there. And you can use in land use, zoning, transportation, urban design, parks, walkability, all kinds of disciplines can be easily maneuvered and easily dealt by using the GIS. Yes, coming back to steps in formulation of a GIS master plan.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, the slides are not changing, actually.
Oh.
We can see your first slide, but it has not moved.
Oh, then.
But we are able to hear you. Yeah, now it is changed.
Second, I am in the 7th slide now. Now, yeah. Can you?
We were able to hear you, so we got the concept, but the slides were not changing. That was it.
Now, is it changing?
Yes, sir. It is changing.
Yeah. So right now I am in this slide, and I'm just about to go to the next slide. I hope everybody are able to look at this 7th slide.
Yes, sir. We are able to see that.
Yeah. Key steps in the formulation of GIS-based master plan. Yeah. So let me tell you, anywhere you go and plan any city, there are these 5 plus 7 steps. I mean, more or less. I mean, there can be a little more, little less. First of all, you have to acquire a satellite image. How do you acquire a satellite image? Either you buy it from NRSC, which gives you a Cartosat or QuickBird image, or these days completely drone image. Drone flying is the new technology which came. Everybody are preparing their own. Flying their own drones and then getting their own images. So first of all, you should have a very clear, interpretative, and no cloud covered satellite image. That is the first step that you do. Second step is immediately you will have to do your geo-referenced base map. Base map is, I think you all know. I mean, like I'm focusing more on the students who are drawing more attention towards the planning thing, but base features are like railways, roadways, and water bodies. Everything has to be digitized, which we call it as a base map. Base map is the basic layers of any city, which are to be mapped. When we say geo-referenced base map, I don't know how many people know what is the definition of a geo-referenced. Can anybody react? Do anybody know what is a geo-referenced base map?
The students here have also taken up GIS in the previous semester, so we are
right.
all,
So they are all aware, right? So suppose you are taking 100 photographs or 50 photographs, and all those are stitched, and definitely there will be some kind of error. I am telling you, it is impossible to prepare 100% accurate scale to scale existing land use map for any city in India. Not only in India, I'm saying at least to 2% or 3% will be the error, because we are working for so many. Even Delhi Development Authority, DDA, will not have such kind of accurate. Suppose you are putting a point, suppose you are parking a car in a place, and then you are measuring the distance, and you are comparing with the real scenario to the scenario which you have in your computer in your development authority, definitely there will be some mistake. So correcting that mistake to maximum possible extent is one of the important things while you are doing your base map. And the third one is, of course, exactly understanding what is the city with the help of land use map. Mostly they do by the primary surveys. And the fourth and the very, very important and very complicated exercise, again, I'm telling you, there are very, very few cities in India who have all these layers in one software which are accurate. See, revenue cadastral information, you all know it is a survey number information. Why do we have to prepare all these maps? See, ultimately, it is to be informed. I mean, it should not be forgotten that why we are doing all this. We are preparing a very foolproof master plan, because tomorrow suddenly one farmer comes to you. He says that I have 10 acres of agriculture. I want to make plots. I want to make a layout. Please give me permission. Then the systems of the development authorities, of course, there is a bigger purpose of why we are preparing a master plan. But the secondary purpose is, you should immediately able to, what is your survey numbers? 137, 135. 137, you punch in 137, 135, you check the master plan. Yes, it is a residential zone. Of course, if it is an agriculture zone, you have to apply for the land use. So to be able to make a decision that faster is why we are very much focusing on the importance of the GIS. Many revenue information is like almost gold. Revenue information is, you will have the revenue numbers on lakes, you will have revenue numbers on your residential lands, you will have revenue numbers on your commercial lands. So and it is prepared on a different scale by a different department. Coming to the fifth one, contour data. Contour data is again Survey of India. I mean, like, it is a different data. It might be in a different scale. It might be in a different version. It might be in AutoCAD. It might be just a printed map. It might be in GIS shapefile. You don't know. But at the end of the day, a planner, to be able to give you a proper existing land use map and a proposed land use map, you will have to have all your data, which is satellite image data, which is visible, revenue data, and contour data, all on one platform, of course, in different layers, so that you exactly know which survey numbers are falling in what height, which survey numbers are falling in a very low height, and which are the residential. How do you plan future residential? The reason why we are doing all this, again, I'm telling you, as a student, it is a very, very important quality that if you are learning something, why are you learning? Where will you use it? So if you are doing a contour data, why are you doing a contour data? Suppose tomorrow you are giving a future residential of some 10,000 acres for a city. You are allocating a 10,000 acre of future residential in a city. You would definitely not allocate in a very low lying or a flood prone area. You want the future residential to be in a very plain, very non-disturbed, and non-flooded area. You should not have any problems once you plan there. You're terming it as residential, and you cannot have problems over there. Which is why we are doing this contour data. Which is why we are doing all this revenue data. So all this preparation is like, you're sowing a seed, you're planting the you're watering the seed, and then it grows as a small plant, and then you're carefully observing it, and now the tree grows to certain height, and now it is a time to actually give the fruits. That is the importance what GIS has nowadays in preparing a master plan. Of course, on second stage, as I told you, existing data analysis, appraisal of a city, population projections, SWOT analysis, vision formulation. These are the second steps, and finally you evolve with a master plan with zoning regulations. Yeah, acquiring satellite image. This is the recent one that we used the drone in one of the cities in Maharashtra. I'll just go through very quickly because I'm a time-bound person. I started at 3:15 and I'm supposed to complete by 4 o'clock, something like that. So I'll do that. Try to do that. You can see the difference between the images. Previously, it used to be Cartosat 2 image from NRSC. Now Quickbird image came. Now drone image came, which gives more clarity. More clarity means more information can be digitized. Similarly, 3D models. When you are doing a land use survey, every parcel of the land is given a code. Every house is numbered, and you visit each and every property. You check whether it is residential in the first floor, whether it is commercial in the ground floor, whether it is completely residential, whether it is completely commercial, whether it is completely institutional. So there are a series of codes which are to be written by hand. This is the basic primary survey that you do for any city before preparing the existing land use map. This you are doing only because of the existing land use map. And then I just explained what is the importance of geo-referenced map, even the revenue data. And now this is a kind of a look that you get when it is a base map for a, this is a ICR Itanagar Capital Region. We recently it has been published. The master plan is published and approved by the Honorable Chief Minister also, apart from the department themselves. And then the existing land use map. As I told you, I'm coming in the same order. Once all the data is fine, then you go for the land use, and all the colors are given by the different guidelines. Amrut guidelines we follow sometimes, UDPRFI guidelines we follow sometimes. Any guideline is okay, but every color is very important to determine the land use, and that's how you do the land use maps. This is for Bapatla. Of course, this is for Adoni, which are a couple of towns in Andhra Pradesh. We worked for Kohima, Dimapur also. We are working in 27 cities in Kolkata, 9 cities in Maharashtra. Yeah, this is a kind of a map that is where your revenue data is there, your cadastral data is there, your survey sheets are there, even the FTLs are also there. So if this map is there on hand with you, you will feel that power of having the entire city potential in your hands. You can make any decision very easily. You can make any decision appropriately, more than easily. It is appropriately that you can make that decision of which revenue number should be allocated for what purpose, and how do you really plan. See, a planner, in my opinion, has to have two minds. One, a statistician or a number mind, quantitative mind. Two, you should have that feel towards a city. You should have that, what do you say? You should be able to understand that soul of the city, because Kohima is very different, Itanagar is very different, and Darjeeling is completely different. And we are hearing so many requirements from the cities as per their income levels, as per their habits. So one mind is completely statistician mind. Yes, in next 25 years, now it is 2 lakh. I am anticipating this city to have 5 lakh or 6 lakh. I am planning for 6 lakh, right? So immediately housing. What is the number of households right now? What is the area which is covered? What is the average density of the entire state, average density of the entire India? To have a very proper, no stormwater should be blocked, no drainage should be blocked, no traffic has to be blocked. Then I call it that unit density, controlling unit density. If one particular area can hold only 10,000 houses, you will plan for only 10,000 houses. because that area will only take 10,000 houses water supply, 10,000 houses storm water or grey water or drainage water, and it can handle only those many vehicles in that area. You cannot give permissions to 20,000 people in an area which can accommodate only 10,000 people. Then all these problems pop up, whether it is traffic, whether it is anything else. Now you are seeing even in cities, I mean, like Bangalore, I feel it is the most insecure place I come. I mean, don't take it negatively, but you know, I'm always in a tension whether I will reach my airport in the right time or not, because from point A to that, to move to that Whitefield, another point, some on any average day you will take 2 hour, 2.5 hour for a distance of 30 kilometers. So this is a number game. As I am telling you, first mind is a number mind, which will clearly tell, okay, this many houses will need this much of water supply, so this much of pipeline is needed, this much of storm water, I mean drainage pipelines are needed, this much of storm water is needed, depending on the rainfall. The diameters are calculated. It is all mathematics. There is nothing, it is a simple mathematics. Like for so many people, this is the infrastructure that we need, give them. Whether it is parks, whether it is playgrounds, for so much of population, yes, we do have standards. So it is nothing, nothing very emotional or any intangible about it. But again, you also have to have a mind of some feel factor, some soul, that you really understand that city, understand the income levels of that city, and then you come up with the proposals. So there are these two are most important things. I famously say, a city is not a city which you see above the surface. Actual city is the city what you have beneath the surface. I'm talking exclusively in the perspective of infrastructure. Imagine a 20 feet given to you underground. On one side you will have all these cable connections, one side you will have all these telephonic connections, one side you will have water supply, other side you will have drainage pipelines, and whether the diameters are very proper. Do you have any railway track if anything goes wrong? So a city is always a city which is beneath the ground, not above the ground. Above the ground, everybody can build all the buildings. But what is happening beneath the ground? We are all missing that numbers. We are all missing that logic of the unit controlling capacities, which is why we are getting all these floods, which is why we are facing so many problems. First of all, the planning is not there from the beginning. We are doing kind of ameliorative kind of planning. See, almost everything is now coming to an end, then suddenly planning takes place. At least the new areas have to be planned a little before. And as I said you, the numbers are important, and at the same time understanding the cities is also important. Like if I have to throw the numbers at you, like you will check the household size, you will check the sex ratio, population, what kind of caste people are there. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. What kind of workforce is there, what is the religion, what is the sources of water, sources of house, migration details are important. How do you really calculate the population details, what kind of population projections that you make, whether arithmetic, whether geometric, whether incremental, or how do you really zero in on the method that you anticipate for how much population shall be there for the next 25 years. All these statistical techniques are very, very, very important. And then you go for the SWOT analysis. Everybody having an individual toilet is definitely a strength for a city. Where the weaknesses we will have in stormwater drainage, we'll have bottlenecks. You will have opportunities, you will have threats. For any city that you would like to study as a part of a master plan, and that is what we will give to the department heads, that this city is suffering with this. And once you understand all the data, this is when your both numbers and soul will mix, and then you form a vision. See, vision, when you, unless you form a particular vision, this is the way I want to drive the city, then you cannot really go forward. And it looks very, very similar. On a superficial, on a mode, it looks very, very similar. Like, we first, cities have to be economically improving. That is the number one thing. Economically stimulating strategies have to be there. Tourism is definitely, any small city will have something or the other for which you can draw the attention of tourists. Every city will have their culture, their their agro products or some forest products or some minerals or something like that, which have to be tapped in nicely. So I say, I'm a transportation planner myself. I say, you build transportation, then a city shall build. That is the way I would like to see transportation for a city. I am clearly aware of, satellite town ring road STRR for Bangalore and peripheral PRR for Bangalore, which has been pending from years. City is suffering, and city is waiting for that outer ring road, which will easily transform from one place to another place, having a 3 lane or a 4 lane freeway expressway. Now the pillars are up almost, in the area of Dodbulapura. I've recently gone through these Nandi Hills, Devanhalli area also. North Bangalore is picking up. But, I think for a city scale of, for a scale of Bangalore, I still rate it as one of the best cities we have in India in terms of composition, in terms of cosmopolitan. But, I think at least 3 or 4 years back, or even 5 years back, you should have that PRR or STRR completed. I would strongly say, I don't know how many people know Hyderabad a lot, but we have an outer ring road here, which is covered almost 173 kilometers. When really the outer ring road happened, everybody were like, whether the politicians or some other people were like, why do you need, hardly we see any vehicles on these lanes? I mean, government, how can government spend so much of money? Now you see, only because of that ORR, all the suburbs, all the surrounding places of that outer ring road have blossomed like anything. So I say, I famously say, you build transportation for a city, the city builds next. Or definitely, when a city is building enough, you definitely need a transportation. This is both see and saw kind of a thing. So transportation is one thing which everybody has to be focusing. And preservation, conservation definitely matters. Environmental, we are one of the very, very fastest deteriorating environments that we are trying to put up, whether the usage of the diesel, whether the emission standards, whether in whatever scale. Definitely we are we are sitting in a country where on some day, Chief Minister of Delhi comes out and says, and if you it is better you don't come out of your house because the climate is not so nice today. So that's the worst thing that that can happen to any city, and which is happening to us sooner or later. Planning in terms of healthy air, health, climate. I mean, I'm sure the other speakers might have covered it, but now it is part of 15th Finance Commission. I'm sure you all know what is 15th Finance Commission. So all these things are rising up. I want you to all look at this very carefully. To prepare any master plan. This is just a glimpse that I'm giving. Comprehensive sector-wise proposals. In housing, where are the houses that you would like to build? You have to come up with proposals. Whether it is sewerage, where is the STP that you want to come up? What is the location of that STP? You have to give it in the master plan. Whether it is public and semi-public, all sectors, you need to give at least 5 or 10 proposals which are very much suitable, which is very much needed. And when it comes to the is my voice audible, and can you see the change of slides? Hello, can you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yes, so now if you see, for transportation, we will develop new roads, we will do the road widening, we will do footpaths, we will do alternative roads, we will do junction improvements, we will do all kinds of things. I mean, like we will have the external transportation also. How many where we need a interconnecting bridge, where we need alternative What are the, every intersection will have some kind of geometrical errors, how to correct them. So these are all also the part of master plan that you prepare. And then you'll come to the proposed land use. Proposed land use is a very, very tricky thing that, right now the agriculture is so much. How much agriculture more you want to put? Right now the commercial is so much. How much more commercial you want to come? So it depends. I mean, that there are numbers there are guidelines which can help you in terms of numbers. But at the end of the day, you will have to meet all those guidelines, and at the same time also meet the specific requirements of that city. So that is also one of the things. Databases, GIS tool, all these are there. And now that I almost completed with how to prepare a master plan. And what is if we can't even imagine the accuracy, we can't even imagine to move forward without the role of GIS into a master plan. Which is why even students going, even in United States, they are going to ESRI programmed master courses. They are becoming proper GIS professionals, and they are finding jobs there belonging to the GIS field, because almost the city is in your hands when you are belonging to that profession. The last thing, the penultimate thing which I would like to discuss is about, we are wonderful planners. We have prepared a beautiful master plan for a city. What happens next? It is very surprising to know that nothing very categorically happens after the preparation of a master plan, except the natural reactions. Natural reaction meaning, suppose you are giving a residential area that if a survey number with who wants to take a layout permission or a building permission, who comes, he will be checked, and if there is a change of land use, he will go for the change of land use. There is no proper human resources who are thinking in, suppose you prepared a very beautiful master plan. Now you want the North Bangalore to be blossoming like anything in terms of residential. Will it blossom if you don't do anything about it for the next 25 years? I don't think so. You will have to do that knowledge and awareness programs for the builders. You will have to give some kind of incentives to the builders or the associations that, suppose you build 3 layouts here, we will give such and such, discounts in either the water connections or whether the electricity connection, something like that. See, now you are planning a city, you are thinking in one line, and you are not doing any steps in making sure that plan is implemented. Then it is as good as not preparing a plan. I have seen a huge negligence. I would not say negligence. Again, I would not like to make that political comment, but see, hardly all the planners, whether you go to DTCP offices, whether you go to BBMP, they are very, very busy only in approving the layouts. That's all. Then who are those set of 5 to 10 planners or 20 planners? For a city like Bangalore, I think at least 50 planners should be sitting in one table from 8 to 5 morning to think about which direction the city has to go. Are we really making sure the plan is implemented? At least there is 0 people, not only in Bangalore, whether in Hyderabad, whether in Delhi. You will have a chief city planner who is the head of that city. For any development agency, for BBMP also, you will have a chief city planner. He is always under tremendous pressure of work and tremendous pressure of signing those layouts or the new developments or the new brigade buildings, new prestige projects, or all the famous builders of Bangalore, I would say. He is always busy that way. Then when do you have time to, where is the mechanism for you to implement these master plans? So implementation of the master plan is very, very poor. Second thing is inconsistency of approving a change of land. Suppose as a master plan, you think that this belongs to forest area or a conservation area. Suppose one applicant is coming, he is saying, no, it is not conservation. I want it to develop into residential. Immediately next day you are approving. then what is the point of preparing a master plan? I am telling you, almost 90 to 95% of all land use changes are approved in India. In that sense, how can you expect the city to be intact or city not to have any floods into the houses? It is happening because every land use change is approved. If you stop this, then there will be some this thing. Change detection studies have to be there. As I shrinking government lands, shrinking minerals, all the catchments can also be very useful. So don't think that governments are not doing an attempt, or don't think that they're not doing anything, but it is not sufficient. Suppose there are some 486 lakes which used to be there in Hyderabad not very long ago, in 1980s or 1990s. Now there are hardly 170 lakes, and I'm sure the number has gone down even in Bangalore. Bangalore is also very famous of lakes. So these are the diamonds which we are losing because of non-implementation of the master plan. If a master plan is properly implemented, then there will be a lake, there will be an FTL, full tank level, there will be a catchment area. Impossible, no houses should be constructed in the catchment area near the lakes. If you are not giving any permission, obviously the houses will not come. Whichever comes will be illegal or unauthorized, which can be demolished later. So this preparing master plan is one heck of an exercise itself. And then now implementation, nobody is too much serious. That book goes into a shelf, and it is used only for the layout permissions. That's all. So this is another area which I would like to bring to the into the light. When I say dreams to achieve, as a planner, we think too much sometimes. Green transportation. Some speaker was speaking about this thing. Can we imagine roads? At least for the new cities or the new part of the cities. Can we bring a policy where only greenery is there on the side of the road, not commercial? What we all like along our major streets is commercial. Commercial is what we want. Without commercial, we will die on a road. If you have, imagine if you have only 100 feet of only trees across the streets, and then the commercials behind them, and then some channels are given. This is practiced in many parts of the world, even in Chandigarh. Definitely Chandigarh is a planned city. You have all the sectors, you have all the commercial areas. So this is the next generation. This is what the master plans have to prepare. Now I give this plan to any of the city which I worked, they will immediately throw me out of that consultancy, because the commercial land is so valuable and many people will be suffering if they implement this policy. So at least for the new cities, there is a chance. But now at least 20% of the income of the cities will be coming from this commercial sector. Rama Rao, you suddenly want all the trees on the road? No, it's impossible. That is what any commissioner or any IAS officer would say. And second thing is, Indian cities are like, I would like to see them as petals. One petal being a old Bangalore, the another petal may be a new Bangalore or a North Bangalore, or another petal may be a completely industrial zone, or another petal. So actually amalgam all these petals in a very systematic direction, in a very proper direction is the challenge or the dream that we need to achieve. I'm trying to practice to achieve such kind of things, because every place which is saturated becomes saturated at one point of time. You see, suppose 20 years back, Jayanagar or maybe some parts of that Bangalore may be very very good locations, but right now they are very much saturated. Nobody wants to live there. So transformation of the old cities into a survival status and the new cities to a new dimension is also job on hand, which has to be taken care, because hardly small cities like even 1 lakh or Tumkur, or a city like Hassan, you go and you will have a traffic jam in that one road also. So there is a lot of scope for planning the cities, and GIS professionals and GIS technology is helping as much to actually plan and be able to present. I'm looking at my yeah, I think I'm almost done with my presentation. I would like to thank the organizers. I don't know what sense I made and what I influenced the inject into the audience in what way, but yes, this is my experience, and preparing a master plan and using the GIS technology to the right and the fullest potential is the next a very big thing that I see, at least for the next 20 years in India. Thank you so much. I am open to questions now.
Thank you for the wonderful session, sir. It was truly enlightening about the significance of master plans and roles of GIS technologies in its development from initiation to implementation phases. Now the platform is open for Q&A. I request if any of the students have questions, they can come up.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
So in reference to comprehensive comprehensive sector-wise proposal and master planning. So these are well-established ideas in big or planned cities. So how effective are these concepts in small towns in India that poses a problem of unplanned infrastructures?
See, I would like to think very differently or very reversely in terms of small towns. It is as hard as much to actually correct a big city like a Bangalore into a proper one, but it is very easy to plan such kind of sector-wise proposals also. See, to implement any big infrastructure proposals in a small town that you are saying for a population of 1 lakh and 2 lakh, except the financial problem or the financial outfit of that city, it is very easy. It is easy to regulate, or that 2 or 3 major roads having a small inner outer ring road and having a good transportation, and then other infrastructure planning for small cities is much easier, I would say, apart from the financial outfit, if I have to take it out.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, my doubt is about firefighting units. In foreign countries, firefighting unit becomes one of the integral part of a town plan.
Yeah.
Is it the same in India?
Yes.
Should we up to what extent India have taken the firefighting seriously?
Is your question completed?
Yes, sir.
Right. See, it is a very, very broad level of question that you asked. I can't really answer you to what extent this facility is with them, but for with respect to population, this much of firefighting or infrastructure is planned, and then they will go accordingly. How far they are implementable, how far they are very effective is again on the implementation agencies like municipalities or city heads.
Thank you, sir. There's another question from the online platform. It says, sir, are you open for teaching GIS in your company?
Well, a different question. Yes, I generally don't teach GIS in my company. We do consulting works. I'm sure you will find a lot of agencies who can do that.
Thank you, sir. Now, if there is one more question, sir, from our audience here.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, as the proposal and drafting of a master plan is a matter of past, present, and future, where we observe from past and design it for present and future, what will be the most prominent factors to be considered while drafting a master plan, and how should they be prioritized?
See, I mean, if I would prioritize, first would be the environment, second would be the economy, third would be the infrastructure, fourth would be the tourism. So, I mean, even if you go back to the history of the planning, 1600s, 1700s, 1500s, the first planning was made only on the basis of safety. So that nobody should come. If you can see the old cities, they used to have these walls of 20 feet or 30 feet or 40 feet, because they want to be saved by either the animals or by the opponents who wants to capture. So safety was the first tool which was evolved in planning. Then trade, all the civilizations, if you see the civilizations, whether Indus Valley, whether this thing, they are on the water side, so that they are going on ships, they are traveling to one place to another, bringing the products from the other, and they are trying to do some trade and eat food. So similarly, see, every city has different priorities. I'm sure environment, economy, transportation, and infrastructure are the major priorities which have to be handled.
Thank you, sir.
Am I supposed to finish by 4:15?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for sparing your time and enlightening us about the session during the session. Now I conclude the session. I request our respected HOD sir to propose overall vote of thanks of the program.
Good afternoon to all of you. Actually, it's my privilege that I have got a chance at least to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of the Department of Civil Engineering and also on behalf of the Principal and Management of MSRIT Bangalore, and also on behalf of all the beneficiaries of this program, including my students, my faculty, and others. In fact, when our coordinator, Professor Nisar Ahmed sir, brought this idea, sir, it's worth that we should have an international webinar, having all the external repeated international speakers. I was a little cross-fingered. Why is it possible with him to do it? But he has proved with the best support of all his team members that yes, it can be done and it can be successfully conducted. So therefore, first my appreciation goes for the idea which has been kind, that this could be a useful platform. So therefore, let me thank the speakers who have participated and made this program as a grand success, starting from Professor Yoshia Nakagawa, Tokyo from Japan, who has dutifully delivered a talk on passenger topic survey with the Wi-Fi packet collector with a case study at Nairobi. That was an excellent. Then we had Professor Dr. Prashant Motwani, and he also from Singapore. He has talking about the structural health monitoring using advanced wireless IoT-based sensor technology. It was well received, and a lot of deliberations were going on in my department thereafter the lecture. And then the Mr. Shubham Karel from USA, who has delivered a talk on bridging urban planning issues using geospatial technology and image data, inculcated a lot of interest among the students. In fact, I should say that some of the students already approached me, sir, what kind of projects work we can do on this line. And then we have the Dr. Said Lahassani sir from Morocco. Excellent topic he has shared with all of us on a topic of precision forestry, geospatial data, and machine learning oriented approaches. Thereafter, today we had three illustrious speakers. To start with, Dr. Joshua Kanapo from Australia, the delivery of the topic, specially explicit framework for climatic adaptation as a case study. It was well received, sir. It has opened a lot of our minds to different concepts, how we can go about in the future. And then followed by a talk by Dr. Krishna R. Reddy from University of Illinois, Chicago, USA. Extremely grateful to you, sir, for such a wonderful, exhaustive coverage of a topic of the relevance. There's the recent advances in geo-environmental engineering, sustainable issue. In fact, we would like to come back to you on some other context. And then the last, but not the least, delivered by Dr. Rama Rao Maduri, Senior Urban Planner from Hyderabad. The topic, impact of GIS technology in the preparation and implementation of the master plans in India. What a relevant, what a wonderful topic it is. Today, every common man faces why the cities are getting flooded off late. What are the real cause? What are the reason? Why we are, how we are indirectly or directly responsible for this? Very beautifully as elaborated. So to all these speakers, on behalf of myself and the Department of Civil Engineering and MSRT and management, extremely grateful to you, sir. We record our sincere gratitude to all of you for such an effort you have taken and the efforts you have put in to deliver and be with among all of us. And we are extremely grateful to you, sir, and look forward for a larger collaboration and cooperation and guidance and service and consultancy with all your establishments in the days to come. And finally, I also would like to say that this program could have not been possible, but for the best efforts put in by all my colleagues, headed by Professor Nisar Ahmad and his wonderful, very efficient, very organic team around sitting with me. If I sent a few names, there will be many more which have been left. Therefore, I will not take that risk. So on overall, I will convey him and his team the best regards as well as my thanks to all of them. Such a wonderful argument, clarity and the precision, time and time management, everything was on time. It was wonderful experience, sir. So with this, I will conclude the session of the webinar which we have started on 11th and ended today evening. And even outside weather is also very, very, very beautiful and very sweet to express his happiness the way we have conducted it. I see very pleasant. Very nice. Well, okay. Very nice. Don't waste time. Come fast. Come. With mask or without mask? Without mask. Yes. 3, 2, 1. Oh! Go back.